this morning I called it a range of anywhere from inescapable controversy and tragedy to pure elation. What would you say that range has done for you as a person, living in both of those polar opposites?
It's fascinating. I think the further you can get on both ends of the spectrum is the only way you're really going to make those massive character shifts. And those are the things that are going to shape who you are. Like I've always said, like, trauma creates success. It can break many people, but also it can make many people. Like trauma, especially like childhood trauma and even like young adult trauma can shape who you are and change who you are for the better. And it did for me. And since I was on the way up and on the way bottom, I've seen both sides, and now I can move with grace and humility and energy of complacency while still being hungry and comfortable with myself.
I was there for those dark times.
Yeah.
I added you into the acknowledgments in my book. To Logan Paul, thank you for your trust. Your confidence in me during your own dark times forged our camaraderie and steel. You are the brother I never had. Oh. That is my acknowledgement in the fifth vital. Do you feel like going through trauma has made you more relatable for people like me or for anybody else out there who's been through shit? Does it make you a more relatable person, more empathetic, or allows people to empathize with you?
For sure. I mean, that's definitely one way to put it. All of my negative shit was a blessing for so many reasons, but there was, even when I look back at my old content, you could see me becoming less and less relatable, less and less realistic and authentic as a human. Like even now, bro, I don't wear jewelry like I used to. The most you'll see me out at a club, I'll have my favorite Rolex on, the only one I have, 2 rings and a little gold chain. And back in the day, the idea was just flex, show people how great I am, be a cocky, confident, arrogant, loud, boisterous prick, and draw attention. It was like shock value was the way to break into the homes of millions of people through the internet.
So you broke into homes.
And you committed robbery.
Is that how you got the rings?
I didn't pay for any of those. No, that's a crime.
You were a cartoon character at one point. Would you say that?
Yeah, for sure. Bro, both Jake and I were. There's not. Are you kidding me? There's no such thing as a more quintessential villain than the fucking 2017 Paul brothers. Like what were we doing? But I have an answer. Because I think about this a lot, and especially with these new TikTok kids coming up and just anyone who's young on the internet. I think, hot take.
Here we go.
I think the internet, I think social media is keeping people younger longer. I think kids are staying kids for a longer amount of time than they were. We aren't necessarily rushing to get married and have kids like our parents were, and especially not like our parents were. My grandpa texted me today. He said,
that was an interesting
I'm not going to read this text, although I should.
No.
He texted me. He said he was having his second son by 25. My mom was getting married at 25.
Yeah.
I am nowhere near either of those. I think the advent of social media has made kids, ironically, maybe slow down a bit and realize there's more to life and there might be more to your objectives and your goals than just starting a family. Like, what do you want to do? What do you want to create for yourself?
I think there's two parts of it as well, and that's absolutely right. I think social media showcases and elevates the single life. The trips to Ibiza, like the going out to the club, like all your favorite, culture and trendsetters are doing those types of things. Yeah, there's a bunch that have family channels as well, but for the most part, it's this very lavish, luxurious single life that everyone's looking at online on social media. The other thing that's keeping people young is, in that same vein, social media allows older people to stay connected to the culture. Yeah. Because social media is the culture in every way, shape, and form. And so back in the day, where when you turned 40 years old, you weren't seeing the same things that 20-year-olds were seeing because you were watching the news, you're watching CNN. Now, any 40-year-old can be on Complex and looking at what's going on Complex. Oh, a new Yeezy album dropped. I'm 40, but I fuck with it. That's one of the things that keeps me young, to be honest with you.
You're really savvy for your age. You're also a millennial. You're on the
I just made it.
Yeah, you're on the front end of it, but you are still very technology savvy. I also think the uncertainty that pretty much defined a lot of the older generations back in the day was a reason they maybe felt like they had to get married because that was the standard. That was what their parents told them to do. Now with social media, there's always like a better, or what appears to be, there might be a better option out there. Again, people aren't rushing to do what their parents told them to do because now they can see the world through their computer screen, through their phone. Imagine this, right? Imagine there's 50 people in a room, boys and girls. And that's it. For the rest of your life, you're trapped with those 50 people. You'll probably force yourself to like one of them, or find a mate, a partner. Now imagine there's 1,000 people in that room. I don't know if you're going to settle as quickly. I don't know if you're going to be as hasty to try to connect with a mate because there's options. Now you got fucking options.
That's the word. That's
options,
the word.
Bro.
It's options.
Options on partners, options on relationships, options on career, options on happiness. You could do anything. You could do anything. You could do anything.
You can.
You can even do that online.
You can do whatever you want.
The biggest thing you said though is in my eyes is the career thing, and I wish I said this sooner too. For the generations before us, by the age of 25, our grandparents and their parents before them had a set job that they had already been working for years and years and years and years, and they were very secure. At 25 years old nowadays, people are looking at their third career choice. They're looking into digital entrepreneurship. They're looking at all these different ways to make money and expand their horizons when it comes to careers. And so if you follow this linear chart of what people do in life, generally they set themselves up for some sort of long-term financial security and then find a partner.
Yeah.
But since people aren't finding that long-term security and financial freedom, not to take a playbook out of Mr. JP, but since they're not finding that as early, that's taking longer. They're exploring their horizons longer and longer until they're in their 30s and 40s. And then they say, you know what? Now I'm set. Now I'm going to wife up, whatever.
I wonder if that has anything to do with college and going into debt from all that stuff. This is a very Spencer thing to say right now. But people getting out of college at 21, 22, and you got 4 years of debt, however much debt you have to pay off. You're definitely not set up. And then by that time you're 25 and you're like, well, I still got a lot more to do. I think
I saw a tweet. I think this Corona shit may have a massive impact on the idea of college. And the curriculum there, because bro, are kids really still paying $80,000 a year to be on a fucking Zoom call?
It's crazy.
Are you kidding me? Why have we not like? It sucks because it's the standard set in place, and in many ways, just like this quarantine, you're sort of, society tells you you're trapped, and that's the path you have to follow. And if you feel like you want to move out to LA and become an artist of some kind, there's a sense of inadequacy because you're not doing the thing that has been done, is the model for generations before us, like for the centuries. And so I hope out of many things that I think are going to come from the self-isolation shit, people will get a new outlook on school and education.
Do you remember when parents used to run into other parents at like the grocery store and like, I haven't seen you in 10 years. The first question was always, where'd Johnny end up going to school? That was the big question. And the most proud moment of a parent's life was to say, my kid graduated from fucking Columbia.
You know what you
my
don't want to
say?
say?
Went to Columbia. Yeah, he didn't go to school.
He didn't go to. He's out in LA doing music, and then like little does the person think that the kid can become a Post Malone or like a Chance the Rapper or any artist. Like the chances are low, and it's unfortunate that less and less kids are chasing their dreams because their parents and their elders and older siblings like tell them to.